What's up YouTube? It's Ben, and in this video, well, I'm back after 4 months. So first things first, I definitely want to thank every single one of my loyal subscribers. People have been hitting me up nonstop. Where have you been? Where are you at? What's going on? Are you okay? Thank you guys so much. I truly hope that you love my YouTube content as much as I love making it. I realize that I've been gone on YouTube for 4 months, and maybe you care why, but I'm still gonna tell you anyways. So straight up, for the past 4 months, I have been prioritizing other areas of my businesses over making YouTube content. So for one, my recruiter mentorship program has scaled at an amazing pace, and I've really needed to focus my attention on my students' huge goals and huge successes. And on that note, if you want to see some of my students' successes and a whole bunch more about recruiting, definitely join my Facebook group, link in description. I also put a huge focus on my own recruiting agency, closing out last year and coming into 2021 incredibly strong. All of this has helped me reach my 2020 goals and set me up for a huge year ahead. Which leads me to my biggest question. If this is how the past 4 months went for me, how did the past 4 months go for you? More specifically, what are you making a priority in your life or your business right now, and why? What if I actually had an answer to that question for you? How about we talk about priority number 1, which should be to always smash that like button whenever I put out a video about getting your priorities in order, so you should definitely do that first. Okay, now that you've done that, let's move on. Now, I know that you have a lot going on, and to be honest, who doesn't? What I'm really getting at here is I want you to ask yourself, what are the things that are gonna get you closer to your big vision? Or in other words, what things are you doing right now that actually fit into your big vision? Do you even have a big vision? What I mean by that is a hyper-specific picture of exactly what you want your life to look like and feel like. If you don't have a big vision, see, this is where we need to start at. Now, if no one's ever told you, you absolutely 100% need to have a granular perspective on specifically what you want your life to look like and feel like. It's super, super important to you actually attaining that level of success. For me personally, my big vision includes the car I want to get, the living space that I want, the day-to-day existence and how I want to live my life, my relationships, what I give back, my legacy. Everything is down to the T in my big vision. Here's where it gets fun. If something that I'm seeing doesn't move me closer to that big vision, or doesn't feel right or fit into my current vision, I do not make that a priority. Just to repeat one more time, if it doesn't move you closer to the vision, it shouldn't be a priority. The reason I put so much emphasis on this is because it's so easy for us to fall victim to finding things to make priorities rather than taking things off of our priority list. That's why sometimes it's actually more effective to create a not to-do list rather than a to-do list. I know that's really deep, let that sink in though. Let's make this really, really simple. If something's gonna be a priority for you, it should pass my 3-question test. All right, so number 1, does this thing that you wanna make a priority move you closer to your big vision? Number 2, if you're someone that's already living your big vision in life, does this thing you want to make a priority actually fit into this big vision? Number 3, does this priority feel right? Now, if you're following along and you're really catching my vibe here, the last question is the most important. Why? Because it unlocks the keys to answering the first two questions. You have to understand that your feelings, your emotions, good or bad, are going to tell you everything you need to know about what should be a priority and what should not. Of course, when making decisions about what actions to take, what to prioritize, what to execute on, what to do, you're definitely going to be using logic and your brain, right? That comes first. But you always want to incorporate your emotions and your feelings about what you're doing. They tell the truth every single time. I, for one, am constantly engaged with my feelings and my emotions about everything I'm doing and exactly how those things fit into my big vision and whether or not they are priorities of mine. Now, if I didn't do that, it would be like driving around in no man's land without a GPS. I would have no direction, no sense of where I should be going, where I've come from, or anything about what my grand vision looks like and how certain things are going to fit into it. Understand that when you're not in tune with your emotions and your feelings, you're not going to be in tune with the vibration that you're emitting out. Yes, we're getting metaphysics here, right? So when you're not in tune with that vibration, you cannot change it, which means you have no clue what's going on and what you're emitting. Therefore, you're not going to be able to level up and you're not going to be able to grow. As an entrepreneur, you absolutely need to be in touch with that vibration. Because if you can't be in touch with the vibration, you're not going to be able to level up. You're not going to be able to grow. And you have to be able to scale to align yourself with that grand vision you've created. There's no other way to get there. There's no other pathway that you can get there other than from internally. And if you're not tapped into that, you cannot get to the grand vision. You're simply going to be prioritizing things that are meaningless and or taking you backwards, not forwards, or horizontal and not scaling. When I work with people in business, it is incredibly obvious to see who is focusing and prioritizing their vision and who isn't. This is all because winners are in tune with their vibration. Therefore, they're in tune with their emotions, their feelings, and their actions, and thus their priorities. That's why when you see people that are doing big, grandiose things and making big successes along the way, they act different than you. They might seem different than you. It might seem foreign the way they're doing things. And it's all because they're on a different level. When you find yourself thinking and meditating and talking about goals, make it a point to think and meditate on your big vision and also the emotions and feelings that feels like. Then, like clockwork, you'll be able to get in tune with the actual priorities that will move you closer to that big vision. If you ever have trouble with this, the main barometer to always check on whether or not the priorities, the action taking, the big vision itself, if it's the right thing, your feelings, your emotions, how does it feel? It has to feel right. And you'll know it when it feels right. Like I said earlier, making and creating your priorities and following through and executing on those priorities is the only pathway that'll get you to that big vision for your life. That's why I'm incredibly focused on priorities. I am beyond excited to be making YouTube a priority once again. And if you enjoyed or found value in this video, please smash that like button, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, hit that alert button so that you know every single time I release a brand new video. Until then.